Oh, man. Oh, giving me a migraine. Leave it to Blackmagic to just give me an absolute migraine today. Just buy the 4K and then they launched the 6K right in my face. What is going on, guys? Jake Felzine here, back with another video. If you've been around with the channel for a while, you know that I recently just bought the Blackmagic Pocket 4K, guys, and I am addicted to this camera. I love it, and of course, Blackmagic goes and launches the 6K like yesterday or the day before. But anyway, that is not what we are talking about today. Maybe I'll buy that camera. That'll be another video. Maybe spoiler alert, I'm not gonna buy that camera, but maybe we'll chat about that in another video. But today we are talking about what I believe to be the perfect run and gun handheld rigging setup for the Blackmagic Pocket 4K and now the 6K, because for all I can tell from the release and the dimensions, all the mounting, everything should be the exact same. So this rig that I'm showing you today will be perfect for both the 4K and the 6K. Let's dive right on into it. Guys, so for this video, it made sense to like roll B-roll of this in the beginning, like, you know, naturally, because that's what we're talking about. If you've been with the channel, you've seen the intro, and I really need to remake my intro. It could use a little bit of love. I think we've got some stuff in the works. I've kind of been hit and miss here for a while because I've just been cooking up all of this stuff, which is just great stuff. The dock, lots of cool projects coming up with companies and personal projects. Kind of rethinking how I want to talk about gear. Tons of stuff in the works, and I need to redo all of that. It's coming. I promise it's coming. It's just been so hectic. We got a puppy. I've got my job, but anyway, today we are talking about my handheld setup for the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K, or I just like to call it the Blackmagic. A lot less of a mouthful, but today we are talking about what I believe to be the ultimate run and gun setup. I'm going to show B-roll of me building this out and talking about each part as we go. I'm going to hold it in my hands for kind of reference points, just so that I make sure I don't miss anything while we're doing this, but I want to give you guys some good close-up shots and not just kind of show stuff on the camera. I want it to be laid over and explain what I'm doing and how I'm doing it and sort of why I ended up going with this configuration. If you guys have been with the channel before, if you've been around the whole Jake Felzine lifestyle before, you know that I have done a video rigging this camera out. Definitely go check that one out if you guys want kind of my first iteration of how I rigged this camera. I think it's a little bit better balanced for handheld work, a little bit. I still think what I've got is pretty good now. It's just less user-friendly. It kind of blocks the screen. It's kind of longer and bigger. It's not easy to throw in your backpack. It's not easy to throw in a gimbal. That is the first configuration I did is perfect if you know you're only going to be shooting handheld and you have the time to do a whole bunch of handheld work with your client. This setup today is a lot more run and gun, fits in my backpack even, and all I have to do is take off a few little mount points and we're good to go. Fits in my backpack, my new backpack, which is even smaller than my older backpack. But anyway, let's talk about this weird sort of brontosaurus like attachment looking configuration and what we did here. So guys, why would you rig out the Blackmagic? I mean, why would you add stuff to it? What's the point? Well, this camera is ridiculously amazing. The back screen is awesome. All of the controls, all of the menus, the codec, the color science. I love everything about this camera. It looks fantastic. It shoots great video and a great image. It has tons of frame rate options, time-lapse options. This camera is just a beast. Because it's so beastly, the two main problems that I have personally with this camera is it sucks up a ton of battery life. You're not going to be able to shoot very long with LPE6 batteries. I tried doing it. I did that for about half of my vlog video, and man, that was a pain. Just roasted through batteries, just cooked them. You need a big beefy battery if you want the convenience of not worrying about your battery life. The second big issue that I'm fixing, guys, with this build and with the previous build is extra storage space, and that's my T5 SSD right here mounted on top, which we'll talk about all this stuff eventually. I'm just kind of giving you some context. The SSD allows me to film tons of footage at very high data rates. This camera shoots ridiculous data rates. Most of your cameras, they're going to talk about megabits per second. This, if you look up the specs online, is in megabytes per second. That's a factor of 8 people. A bit is 1 or 0, and a byte is 8 1 and zeros. This thing shoots anywhere from like, I think it's like up to 50 or like 100 megabytes, depending on what you're doing. Whereas something like the GH5S is gonna be shooting like at most 50 megabytes a second. And that's on the highest setting at 30 frames per second. So anyway, I needed more battery and more memory space when I use this camera. All right guys, so let's talk about this config. First and foremost, you need the small rig cage. This cage is awesome. It's heavy duty, it's beefy, it fits really nice on the camera, and it straps in really great. It has a really good screw on the bottom that helps hold it in place. If you get it nice and tight, the camera's not going anywhere. And then suddenly you have all of these places to mount stuff on the bottom if you so please, gimbals, tripods, whatever, extra batteries, extra stuff to store can all be mounted on the bottom. You can then mount like cable clamps on the side, and then you can also mount stuff up top, which is what we're going to talk about today. That's the first piece you need. The second piece is the SSD mount, and this again is same as my first video, same place, same spot. Put that Samsung T5 SSD right there up on the front left. It's a great way, again, to increase our data capacity. So now for the two big main changes, guys. As you will observe, there is nothing on the bottom of this camera, and that's because I wanted the ability to put Manfrotto plates on the bottom of here, tripod mounts, gimbal mounts, everything I wanted to be accessible right here on the bottom of the camera. That means that the attachment and the railing on the bottom, it's out. We're not using the railing anymore, and here's what I've done instead. To fix the battery solution, I actually took the V-mount plate, again, this is all small rig attachment type stuff, put it up in the front right of the camera. Still have access to all of my ISO, shutter, white balance, and record buttons. It's easy for me to reach on my finger, and I still have access to all the buttons on top, the 3 function buttons, and the on-off switch. Fits great. It's literally just right here on top, and then I take my V-mount battery, slide it in, lock it, and you've got a great big beefy battery right on the camera. No longer is the battery blocking this amazing back screen, guys. The monitor on this camera is just epic. I love it. It's huge, it's bright. Love this monitor, and now the battery is not covering it. And then the biggest, heaviest part of the camera is right where I would have my right hand all of the time anyway, so it allows it to be kind of balanced, because then I just use my left hand for stabilization, and my right hand is taking the brunt of this weight. And guys, the other main change, you do want a top handle with this setup because it's kind of heavy. If you don't want to just trust your hand to carry it only with this, you can get a nice top grip, or if you're just kind of running around and you've got the big old battery on here and you just want to hold it, this is a great way to be able to hold the camera while maybe you're kind of directing, telling the talent what to do next, that sort of a thing. The top handle is really great for that. What I ended up doing for this top handle instead was I used a NATO top handle, so you can actually unscrew it, unclip it, and then the top handle comes off. This has been a complete game changer, and here's the reason why. I love having the top handle. The top handle is great. I love that the battery is now kind of up top and out of the way, and it feels just like a really big, beefy DSLR type body, but there's still that vertical problem. I couldn't fit this in my backpack with both the top handle and the battery on top, but because it's a V-mount, battery slides right out, top handle slides right off. It's just this little NATO thing right here. It's got the little safety clip, slides right off, that comes off, and then this is a much shorter profile and actually fits inside of my new backpack, and then I can throw the handle and the battery in the backpack as well, and you're good to go. So guys, that is my new handheld run and gun, like kind of guerrilla style build for the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera. I love it. I love it, guys. I think it works great. This is 100% a cinema camera. Like, you could show up to any movie set with this camera and you'd be good to go. In fact, it's almost like overkill for YouTube. Doing that vlog last time was crazy, guys. That took me so long to edit. The data was just so big. Rendering took forever. It was kind of a pain for YouTube. This really and truly is a full-blown cinema documentary camera. Anyway, that is all I have for you guys today. Hope you have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, night, wherever you are at. Don't forget, as always, guys, that creativity comes from constraint. Today, we were constrained on battery life and data storage. Solved it for the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera. Loving it. Loving that motto. Loving you guys. Thank you so much for the support. If you're new around here, consider leaving a like and subscribing. We do tons of gear videos, tons of camera videos, and then lots of personal projects, collaborations, all that good stuff. That is what you will find on the Jake Felzine channel. Have a good one. This is Jake signing off, and I will see you guys without fail in the next one. Catch you later.